I'm telling you, man, if you know about my boy Dame Dollar, he's elite. And additionally, he's one of my examples that I use to say, like, you can't just throw rings. You can't throw the rings argument in a team sport. Like, when we're talking about a team sport here, you could be drafted in a situation like Damian Lillard, where you're at a drafted in a team that gets into playoff limbo because they can't get any other players, but they're not. But they keep making the playoffs, so they can't go to the lottery and pick better prospects to build their team around. So I mean, Damian Lillard to me is gonna be a player that's just gonna I know I feel like other people are gonna forget about him. I'm never gonna forget about Damian Lillard because I remember that dude that dude can ball. But I truly think that he needs to be recognized for the elite player he is. He's one of the league's most elite point guards. And I mean he has a lot of iconic moments. I mean, but I'll get into that in a bit. But right now it is July 16th here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and today I kind of wanted to talk about my boy Damian Lillard, definitely known as Dame Dollar, one of the best point guards in the league, and I don't know, he's known to knock a couple people out the playoffs, couple buzzer beaters for the ages that will always go down in history. So just to give you a little bit of a background, he's an Oakland guy. If you've heard him talk, he's very vocal about it. He talks about where he comes from. Eventually, he had to grind. He went to Weber State. He went to play at Weber State for 4 years. And there, as a sophomore and as a junior, he was named the Big Sky Player of the Year. Of course, and he was named a third-team All-American, and he was a finalist for the Bob Cousy Award out of college. He was, of course, he was impressive enough as a college prospect to be drafted number 1 overall in the 2012 NBA draft. By the Portland Trail Blazers. And if you've seen Damian Lillard, you recognize him. If you know him, you just kind of know the player he is. He stands at 6'2", 195 pounds. He's kind of short for a point guard, but he's pretty stocky. He makes a lot of big shots this season. He's been taking a lot deeper threes. He's still been able to average the points that he's been able to at such a high level. He can pass incredibly well. I think he works incredibly. He works with his Blazer team around him. The team goes as he goes. He's worked incredible chemistry with this team, but for some reason in the playoffs they just haven't been able to get through. So once he got to the pros, it's his first season in the NBA. In the 2012-13 season, in his age 22 season, he started all 82 games that he played in, averaged 38 minutes per game, finished averaging 19 points, 6.5 assists, and 3 rebounds a game, shooting 43% from the field, 37% from 3, and 85% from the free throw line. Damian Lillard had, at that point, solidified the Rookie of the Year, and of course he was named to the All-Rookie First Team. He was not named an All-Star, but of course at that point he was the Rookie of the Year. He was the best player in his draft class, but the Portland Trail Blazers would finish 11th in the West. But this was the only year that Damian Lillard was on the team in which the Portland Trail Blazers didn't make the playoffs. So, just going on into his age 23 season. He started all 82 games he played. Yet again, he finished averaging 20.7 points, 5.6 assists, 3.5 rebounds, shooting 42% from the field, 39% from 3, 87% from the free throw line. The Portland Trail Blazers would end up it would finish 5th in the West, so they would make the playoffs this very, very next year as Damian Lillard came into his second year. They would go on to beat the Rockets 4-2 in the first round. They would lose to the Spurs in the semis in the year that the Spurs would come back and beat the Heat in the finals. And Damian Lillard would go on to claim his first All-Star, and he finished the season on the All-NBA third team for the first time in his career, the first All-NBA team he made. The next season, his age 24 season in 2014-15, he would start all 82 games he played in, averaging 36 minutes. He would go on to average 21 points, 6.2 assists, 4.6 rebounds, and over a steal a game, shooting 43% from the field, 34 from 3, and 86 from the free throw line. He would go on to be an All-Star for the second year, and the Portland Trailblazers that year would finish fourth in the West, but they would lose in the first round to the Memphis Grizzlies. But the Portland Trailblazers had made the playoffs for the second straight season. At that point, they had shown the West that they were a team to stay, and this team was going to follow at the back of this 24-year-old point guard who they basically put their faith and trust in as an organization. His very next season, in the 2015-16 season, he started in the 75 games he played in. He finished averaging 25 points per game, 6.8 assists, 4 rebounds. He shot 42% from the field, 38% from three, 89% from the free throw line. And that year, the Portland Trailblazers would finish with they would finish fifth in the West, to where they would lose to the Clippers in the first round, or they beat the Clippers in the first round and lost to the Warriors in the second. CJ McCollum earned the most improved player. This is the first time Damian Lillard had averaged 25 points in a season, but he was still denied the opportunity to go to the All-Star game. Of course, with point guards like Chris Paul and Steph Curry in the West, it was tough for him to make it, but I think at this point he definitely deserved to make it, but he didn't. And then the 2016-17 season, he would miss out on another All-Star appearance as he finished with 27 points, 5.9 rebounds, 5 assists a game, shooting 40% from the field, basically shooting 37% from three, 89% from the free throw line. But once again, he was snubbed. And in the playoffs, they would finish 8th, and they lost in the first round. They got swept by the Warriors, and that was the second time in a row they lost to the Warriors. And then in 2017-18, he put himself back up in the spotlight for the player that he was. In his age 27 season, he started all 73 games he played in. He would finish the season averaging 27 points with 6.6 assists, 4.5 rebounds, shooting 44, 36, and 91. The Portland Trailblazers would end up finishing third in the West. They lost in the first round to the Pelicans. They got swept 4-0. But Damian Lillard had an impressive season that year, and he would end up getting named to the All-NBA first team for the first time in his career. He was named to his third All-Star, and at this time he was a perennial All-Star. He had made 3. At that time, 3 is not a fluke. He is an elite player that is in his prime in the NBA. Even though he deserved to make it the previous 2, he didn't, but he still made his third All-Star game in the last 5 years. Going to his age 28 season, in the 2018-19 season, he would finish starting in 80 of the game in all 80 of the games. He would go on to average 25.8 points, 6.9 assists, 4.6 rebounds, shooting 44, 37, and 91 from the field. Portland Trailblazers would go on to finish third in the West. They would go on all the way to the Western Conference Finals. When they lost to the Thunder in the first round, they beat the Nuggets in 7, and they lost to the Warriors. And even along the way, there were still even looking back to the series in which they won, Damian Lillard has made some playoff magic that I was going to mention, but I kind of wanted to wait until I mentioned all the playoff series he's been in. But going back to the 2013-14 season, the first year that they made the playoffs and they beat the Rockets, when Damian Lillard hit the game-winning jump shot in the very first playoff series he had played in, I think that's something to mention, something to go down in his career for. And even this last year, he hit the game winner against the Thunder in Game 5 and completely ended that series. And those are 2 game-winning shots to win series that will go down in the history books. They'll go down in the history books, and they're marked down in the stats books as 3 points that will be attributed to Damian Lillard. That's what he's been up to. So if you look at the player that he is now, he's in a nice situation, especially with the bubble, where the Trailblazers will have a chance at competing for a playoff spot. They're currently sitting 9th in the NBA under the Mavericks and Grizzlies, because right now the playoff season hasn't restarted yet, but it's going to. And right now the Trailblazers are sitting at 29-37. Not completely sure if Damian Lillard is going to be completely there and healthy for this season. But even right now, This season he started in 58 of the games that he played in. He would go on to average 28.9 points per game and 7.8 assists a game on the season. Points and assist numbers he had never hit up until now. Shooting 46% from the field, 39% from three, 88% from the free throw line. And the Trailblazers, even in all those games, still aren't competing as such. It's just a testament to show you what's been the dilemma of Damian Lillard's career, where he's been set in playoff limbo. A predicament which I hope doesn't plague Luka Doncic, but Luka Doncic is in a good organization, so that's not going to happen. Where Damian Lillard was drafted into an organization that definitely needed help around him, but after his first year and his second year in the league, he made them a playoff team, and they would consistently play. They would consistently be in the playoffs, but they weren't a good enough team to compete for a championship. But they weren't bad. They would always place in the playoffs, but they'd never have a chance to get another lottery pick to pair with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum going down the line. That would end up hurting them down the line, even though they did have LaMarcus Aldridge most of the time that he was there. But as of right now, the situation that they're in, he's a 29-year-old point guard who's looking at a lot of options. I imagine when his contract year comes, I think he should think long and hard, because this will be his decision. If he wants to win a championship in his career, you look back on your career, you have 5 All-Stars. You already have you were named to the All-NBA first team once, the All-NBA second team twice, the All-NBA third team once. You've already been the Rookie of the Year. I mean, there's not much more you can win except for a championship and an MVP. But at that point, there's no way you can look at me and tell me that Damian Lillard isn't an elite NBA point guard who's proven himself time and time again, a perennial all-star who is still in the prime of his career, and who in the 8 seasons he's played, he has 5 all-stars in those games, which is really impressive for someone who kind of came to the league after playing all 4 years in college. Damian Lillard is a success story. It's hard to imagine what he's going to do in the next coming years. I can't imagine. But for now, I'm going to enjoy watching him play for the Portland Trailblazers. If you ever get a chance to watch him, he's wearing, as of right now, he's wearing number 0 for the Portland Trailblazers. And if you ever get a chance to watch him, just watch and see how much he does for the Portland Trailblazers team, and then ask yourself, does this player deserve to spend his prime in Portland? No offense to Portland, but I'm speaking for Dame right now. Peace out.